Hi everyone, my name is Cassie and I will be your instructor for this Psychology and Law online course this semester. I just wanted to say hi and welcome everyone to the course and kind of go over what our YO courses webpage will look like and kind of orient you towards where you should go and what requirements and such that I'm going to be looking for this semester. But first of all, I just wanted to introduce myself. So my name is Cassie Flick, and I am a doctoral student at the university, and I am getting my PhD in experimental psychology, and I work in the psychology and law research lab. So this course is particularly interesting to me and really delves into a lot of areas that I have a research specialization in. Personally, I do a lot of research looking at juror decision making, as well as perceptions of expert credibility and things like capital sentencing decisions, some of which are topics that we will discuss and talk about in this course. Other than that, I wanted to go through and kind of just show you the layout of YO courses here. So we're on the syllabus page, and while this is helpful for general information, where you're going to find the majority of the materials that you need for this course is going to be in this modules tab. So right now we're in my view, so your view will look a little bit different, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. So right here, we'll just start in the introduction. So if we click on this, picking cotton. So while I've mentioned in a previous email that there's not a required textbook for this course, and that's because the lecture materials really go over the material that was in a previous textbook that has been used for this course. So in order to kind of save you guys some money, we're really just going to be focusing on the lecture materials and any supplementary materials that we have. However, as I mentioned in an email, you will be required to read a book, and that book is called Picking Cotton. And this book is going to supplement our work on eyewitness testimony and memory. So you need to read this book by September 28th, which is when you will be taking a quiz. And then the following week, you're going to be engaging in a discussion regarding this book. Let's go back to the modules tab here. The other two things that I have in here that are important are your two writing assignments for the semester. So you will have an editorial and you will have a current event writing assignment. So let's click into the editorial here. You can see that this is worth 50 points, so a good portion of points in the class. And this is going to be due on November 20th. And essentially you can read through this, but I'm going to be asking you to write a brief editorial, so about 2 to 3 pages double spaced. And this can be on any class topic. And really this is supposed to give you an opportunity to, privately, so therefore in the absence of your peers, just kind of reply to class materials and topics and how they might be related to news and things going on in the world. And then you will also have the current event. And the current event is a somewhat similar paper. This is due on December 4th. And what you're going to be doing for this is you're going to find some event in the news that pertains to something that we've covered in class. And basically write a 2 to 3 page paper that summarizes the news event, explains how it pertains to class, and then how what you've learned on that topic in class gives you an understanding of the current event that is happening in the real world. This is worth 40 points, and I forgot to point this out on the last writing assignment, but if you scroll down on this one and the last one, you will see the rubric criteria as to how you will be graded on that. And actually just going back to the editorial for a minute here, one thing I did want to mention is the reason that this is due November 20th, so a couple of weeks before the last day of classes. This is just because sometimes there will be a particularly interesting and really well-written editorial that I feel could be beneficial for the class to read and kind of have a discussion about. So if that happens, that's kind of why we have the earlier deadline. And if that were to happen, I would reach out to you and kind of ask for your permission, either with your name or without, to post the editorial to the class and kind of have a discussion there. Other than that, the only other thing in this introductions tab is just this place for you guys to ask questions. And as I mentioned in there, if you have any very specific questions, always feel free to email me throughout the course of the semester. But this is just kind of an initial space for the class to discuss any questions that you guys might have that you think others in the course might be having as well. So let's move on to the weekly modules here. You can see that every week it's going to be very clearly defined about what I'm going to be asking you to do. So you'll go into the modules tab, and these will be posted weekly. So they'll be available late on Sunday every week for you to access. And you can click into here, and you will see that we have a few things laid out here. So first, every week you're gonna have an introduction. And what you're gonna wanna do is just click into that, and it'll give you just a brief layout of what to expect for this week's material, that week's materials. After the introduction, you will see that there are lectures as well as PDF slides. So each lecture is laid out and tells you what the general topic is. And next to each lecture, there is a time, and that is the amount of time that it will take you to listen to the lecture. And then you can click on the PDF slides here as well if you would like to download those. And if you see at the top of the modules here, this is the overall time that it should take for you to basically listen through all of the lecture materials for that week. And if there's any supplementary videos, that should be included in this overall time as well, which will just kind of give you an opportunity to be able to plan out how much time you're going to need to get through that week's materials. One thing that you will see here is that this lecture here, it says Narina next to it. And that's because while a majority of the lectures will be coming from me, there will be some guest lectures sporadically within this course. So some of them might be from Narina, who is Narina Nunez. She's a professor in the psychology department. Some of you may have had a course with her before. And then there will also be some guest lectures from another graduate student, Carly, if you've had a course with her. Hopefully that'll just kind of give us an opportunity, or give you guys an opportunity to get some, kind of mix up the lecture materials a little bit so they're not quite as hard to get through, and get some other perspectives. Next, you will see that there is a quiz for each week. So at the end of the module each week, you will see a quiz, and those quizzes are worth 24 points, as I mentioned on the syllabus, and then you will see the due date as well. And essentially, all you have to do is go in and complete that quiz by the due date, and it automatically generates your grade, so you should be able to see that grade right when you're done. Another thing that you will notice is that on some modules at the end of the week, there is a discussion. So I believe that there are 8 discussions throughout this course, and there are 12 quizzes. But as I did mention on the syllabus, 1 quiz and 2 discussions will be dropped. So if there's a reason, for whatever reason, if you can't take a quiz one week, or you don't have time to participate in a discussion, or you just choose not to, that's totally up to you. So you only have to do 6 out of the 8 discussions, so you can just not participate in the other 2, or you can do all of them and have the 2 lowest ones dropped. And then for the quiz as well, if you only want to do 11 instead of 12, totally fine. Or if you want to do all 12 and just have the lowest one dropped. And if you guys have any questions on that, just feel free to reach out. Another thing that I wanted to show you that will be on some weeks is there might be some just additional videos for you to watch, such as you can see here. There's a John Oliver clip here. So, John Oliver can be a little bit silly and sometimes use some foul language and things like that. But I think that there are really some hard-hitting pieces, and some of the topics that he discusses are really related to a lot of the course materials. So in some weeks you might see a little supplementary video like that. You'll also see that some weeks it's kind of doubled up, so there'll be week 7 and week 8. So you can see the time here is a lot higher, but that's because you'll have 2 weeks to complete those materials. And then I believe there's at least 1 week, maybe more, where the lecture materials might be a little bit shorter, but I'll ask you to kind of read some supplementary journal articles, which you can find right here on the PDFs. But again, I'll keep you updated throughout the weeks, and kind of just make sure to touch base with that introduction every week to just get a layout of what you're going to be asked to do. Another thing that you will need to be doing, but it's not till the end of the course, but just to kind of give you a heads up, is you will be asked to watch a movie, and that movie is called 13th, and that can be found on Netflix. So if you don't have Netflix or you don't have access to Netflix, just please let me know, and we'll try to work something out there. But generally, I feel like Netflix is pretty widely used. But if not, just let me know and we'll figure out a way for you to access that movie. Let's go back to the modules here. And I believe that's really all we have to talk about on the modules here. One thing down here you can see in this writing assignments tab, we have already gone over the editorial and the current event. But if you want an example of a well-done editorial that has been turned in a previous section of this course, you can click in here and kind of read through that. So other than the modules tab, the files tab will actually be beneficial to you as well once these files get uploaded. Again, this is my view, so you're not going to see all of these yet, but there will be a folder where you can access the lecture slides and any of those supplementary PDFs in case for some reason you don't want to download them directly from here, but you should be able to download them directly from here. Other than that, let me just pop into the discussion here. I don't think I really went in here and described this for you yet. So essentially what you're going to be doing every week in the discussion is just opening it up and kind of reading through whatever the prompt is and basically just answering and discussing that question or that idea. And one thing I do want you to remember is that, this is a academic course, so please, don't say things that you can't really back up with facts or citations. So make sure that if you're using material that is coming from outside of our lecture or this course, that you provide citations for where you're getting those statistics or that information. And then you can see here that discussions are worth 10 points, and this is kind of the breakdown here. And one other thing with the discussions is just that since this is, a course of 40 students, you will be kind of split up into smaller discussion groups each week. So that way it's easier to kind of facilitate these discussions back and forth. And those will change weekly, so you won't just be discussing with the same people over and over. But I think that's pretty much it for the introduction here, other than just letting you guys know, reminding you that this is a 4,000 level course, so it is going to be pretty fast-paced and intensive. It's rigorous. You're going to have the quizzes every week. You'll have the discussions. There's quite a bit of lecture materials to get through. But if you're having any issues or any problems, especially during these crazy, unprecedented times, please just, feel free to reach out and we'll kind of work together to find solutions. I just ask that you reach out, sooner rather than later if you're struggling or anything like that, so that we can kind of just get ahead of the game there and get moving on that, as opposed to waiting to the end of the semester when, things might not be going great and trying to backtrack. So yeah, just let me know if there's any issues or anything going on there. I guess one final thing that I can mention is that I do have office hours, and those will be held via Zoom. And I will send out a link to that Zoom very shortly. But obviously I know that everyone's schedule is different, so I'm also definitely available by appointment, and we might be a little bit flexible with this time. If, throughout the semester, people really can't make this time, then I might edit those office hours as well. But for now, those are gonna be my online office hours. And if you can't make it, obviously, just always email me and we can set something up. But yeah, I just wanna let you guys know, this is my first time as a primary instructor for a course, as I've had a lot of experience in my doctoral program TAing and have qualifications for this. I just want to be upfront and let you guys know that. So on my end, I guess particularly just with the logistics of YO courses and figuring out and making sure everything's accessible to you guys, please just let me know if there's any issues or any suggestions from your end that might be able to make, this course more accessible to you. But I'm really looking forward to this course, and I really hope that you guys get a lot out of this, and it's very much near and dear to my heart in terms of a research area. So I'm looking forward to teaching and working with you guys.